So Deadpool and Wolverine has finally been released, and this is a movie that honestly I didn't expect to actually want to watch, to be honest with you, because by this point I'm really burnt out on comic book movies, specifically from Marvel's, Disney, and about the only ones that I really have enjoyed recently are the Spider-Man ones. Both the Spider-Man multiverse one and also the Spider-Man animated one. The last one I saw was Across the Spider-Verse. But other than that, I was really kind of done with just Marvel movies and properties in general. But for Deadpool, I did thoroughly enjoy the first one. So I have it here on 4K and Blu-ray. I did enjoy part 2 as well, but I currently do not have that yet. So whenever I saw the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And the simple fact that Hugh Jackman is coming back playing Wolverine was something that honestly, it definitely piqued my interest because I really, really enjoyed Logan. And honestly, if he didn't make another Wolverine entry or movie or whatever the case might be, I would be good with that because that movie ended off on such a high note. A really, really great film. So I decided to go ahead and give this movie a shot because I really did enjoy Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds as this version of Deadpool is the best. Very similar to Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. They are the best at those characters. And well, let's just say I was pleasantly surprised because Deadpool and Wolverine is a movie that knows what it is. Very similar to this one. But it kind of takes it to a whole nother level because this movie, to be honest with you, it's just really silly. Okay? This whole multiverse, Deadpool and Wolverine, you know, trying to save the universe and timelines and all types of stuff. It's a story that you've seen before, okay? And so typically, in general, you always want a really good story, good characters, and at the end of the day, be an entertaining movie or show. And in this case, it delivers on practically all of those things. And so let's start off with the thing that I love the most about this movie, and that's quite simply the main characters and specifically the actors playing them. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, they are Deadpool and Wolverine. Up to this point, I don't think there's going to be any other actors that could play them better. But of course, I've said that about other characters before. But at this point, they are the best at it. And especially when it comes to Hugh Jackman, because he's played this character of Wolverine for more than 20 years. Almost 25 years, if I remember correctly, since the first X-Men. And he really brings a lot to this. You know, Hugh Jackman is just a wonderful actor. You know, regardless of what he's doing. Even if the scripts are bad, he brings his A game. And for Ryan Reynolds, there's very few actors that has the type of comedic timing and just overall, you know, hilarity that he brings. You know, he's just a comedic genius in my opinion when it comes to the whole word of acting. So those two things are the best things about the movie. And then the other things that, honestly, that I did not expect out of this movie is all the fan service. There is a ton of fan service in this. And the thing with this movie is the fan service was done right. So what do I mean by that? Well, for people who are fans of comic books, Marvel characters, Deadpool and Wolverine, they know a lot about these characters. And a lot of times when they give fan service, they'll put stuff here and there, you know, for all the fans out there. But in this case, I kind of feel they went even deeper with that. You know, they put a lot of stuff that only, I would say, hardcore fans would get or fans of these comic book characters would get. But then they would also put other stuff that's fan service for people who have enjoyed the Marvel films and shows throughout, like what, nearly 20 years, probably up to this point. And so some examples of that, and I don't want to go into any spoilerish territories, but let's just say you're going to see multiple Wolverines in this, and they're all going to be from the comic books, okay? If you are familiar with Weapon X, you're familiar with the correct size Wolverine and future Wolverine, you'll kind of see what I mean. Berserker Wolverine, it's there. And it's just so fun to see that if you are a fan of this character. And I really feel this movie, above any that I've seen in a while, does fan service right. So that is a really, really big thing. And then, of course, the action. The action in Deadpool and Wolverine is just really awesome and brutally violent, because I think for a lot of people, they were worried that whenever they would be moving over from Fox to Disney, that, well, it would get Disney-fied and we wouldn't have the same level of brutality, violence, and just really hardcore humor that we got from the other two Deadpool movies. But thankfully, this is all here. And I'm really happy that they kept all of this in, which really benefits the action in this film. It's just really visceral when it comes to gunplay, especially comes to blades, claws, knives, blood. There's a lot of it. And the action sequence in this was really, really fun. I think it was just great overall action, and some of it was really, really awesome, next level stuff. And so if you're in here just for the action, this delivers. And of course, the other thing that this delivers a lot of is the comedy. This is so funny, very reminiscent of Deadpool. But the difference here is that you have Hugh Jackman, you know, playing off of Ryan Reynolds, and they're like the perfect combination. This is like a buddy movie, you know, action comedy buddy movie, but they're just almost perfect with each other. And if they do make another movie in this type of same universe, I'd be more than happy to watch it. And to be honest, it doesn't really have to connect to anything, and I would say this one really doesn't connect to anything. It's just fun to see both of them together. And then the final thing here is that this is an overall fun movie. You probably hear that over and over, but one of the most important things that a movie or show needs to have in the end is for it to be fun and entertainment. And this one is definitely that. It is entertaining throughout, super fun. It's one of those movies that I could go back to multiple times and just have a good time, while also catching all the fan service stuff that I miss. And so overall, the movie itself just delivers on the things that the trailer showed. And that's something that honestly isn't as common anymore, especially with Disney, Marvel properties over the years. They've just really gone downhill, in my opinion. You know, just taking away the fun factor, great story, great characters. And about the only negatives that I could see, and I think they did this on purpose, is really two things. The first thing is the villains, you know, or the villain. She is the main villain, but there's also other villains as well. And honestly, she didn't really play much of a role. But in this case, this movie wasn't really about the villains, okay? So most of the times, these comic book movies, they don't have the best villains, but when they do have great villains, you'll know. And in this case, it's not about that. And that kind of leads to the other weakness of this movie. Typically, you want a really good story. And in this case, the story is very simple. There's really not much to it. And it kind of goes all over the place. It's really goofy and silly, as I kind of mentioned. But it kind of makes sense for this. And so the main reason why you're watching this is to see Deadpool, Wolverine, is to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and also to see a lot of cameos. Man, the fan service in that end was so surprisingly good. Well, if you're a fan of Marvel movies, comic books, well, you will really, really enjoy the cameos in this. They did a really great job, and the cameos in this movie actually serve the purpose. They serve the story really well. And so that's about the only, I would say, weaknesses I could see in this movie. The story itself is really not anything groundbreaking. And the villains, well, they're just there. But overall, I highly recommend Deadpool and Wolverine. This is such a fun movie. And to see Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, along with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, is just awesome. So if you actually had any thoughts on this or any other comic book movies that you've enjoyed recently, be sure to leave it in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my movie reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. Hey geeks, if you are a brand new creator and you simply want something easy to get you started, well, I got something for you with my Creator Starter Kit. This is a super simple step-by-step guide that's going to take you from having no channel to developing your very first YouTube channel, along with ideas, thumbnail designs, and other creator tips, including marketing. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and get started creating.